Hello, I am live, guys. Super duper. So, hopefully, you guys can jump on, and can you let me know if you're on, guys, so that I can make sure that this is actually working. So, just drop me a comment where you are in the world, what kind of Mantrailing dog you're training with. Like, drop some comments so I can know that I can see you guys in the comments. And hopefully, we can have a really good discussion about working in high arousal with the Mantrailing dog. Super, Nick. I can see your thumbs up. That's great. I can actually I can see, so I know that the comments are coming through. Occasionally I've done these lives, and I don't know if people have jumped on because it doesn't always update me. So hopefully I won't lose internet while doing this either, because that can be a problem here in very sunny Wales. So, oh my goodness. Loads of people jumping on, which is awesome. Thank you guys for giving up your Friday evening to talk about this and join me live. I definitely want you guys to be super interactive in this if you can. So any questions, any thoughts, any feelings, any rebuttals to what I'm saying, please do just whack it in the comments. I'm not going to take any offence if someone wants to have a conversation with me. It's very one-sided when I do these lives because it's just me talking, and I can talk all day about mantrailing. That's my one skill in life is mantrailing. So absolutely. So please keep telling me where you're from. Keep telling me who you're training with, what dog you do, what breed, and then yeah, keep talking back. It would be really awesome to have a bit of dialogue backwards and forwards. What I am going to do in this video is I realise that there's a lot of people in talking training now that maybe haven't met me in person, haven't spoken to me, haven't had actually interactions with me, Kathryn Jones, who runs Trailing Canines. So I'm going to do a little bit of a brief intro. I'm going to talk about my story with high arousal dogs and then why I'm screaming about this from the rooftops currently and having a complete fit about arousal in the Mantrailing dog. So bear with me if you guys have met me in person and don't really care about where I come from. For those of you who have joined me in Talking Trailing from lots of different sources, I know there's a lot of people in different parts of the world that maybe couldn't jump on live. I know there's people that kind of know me by proxy or haven't met me. So I'm Kathryn Jones and I run Trailing Canines. And why am I talking about mantrailing? What makes me qualified to talk about mantrailing in the capacity that I do? I have a decade in dog training. That includes training specialist detection dogs and private security dogs in the private security industry and working with high arousal dogs for that whole point. I literally started my life working with bitey bastard dogs in private security, high arousal spaniels. We worked with Malinois before Malinois were fashionable in the UK. You name it, I've worked with it. If it wants to bite people, it's my forte. So I've done a decade doing that now, which is bananas. And I own several high arousal breeds, several high drive breeds, and I've worked with dogs all over the country, not just in mantrailing, but in my behavioural capacity when I was a full-time behaviourist. Over time, I got involved in mantrailing, and I'm pretty much full-time mantrailing now. I still do some behavioural work with tend to be bite referrals or difficult dogs. So yeah, so I have a decade working with dogs. So I'm not just, I'm doing mantrailing. I've been doing mantrailing now for just under 5 years. It'll be like in 2 weeks' time that I did my instructor course. And I kind of went into it with not as much knowledge of mantrailing than I did behaviour, but kind of lots of passion for it. So I was previously a head instructor for an organisation called Mantrailing Global. I was a head instructor for 3 years, and I also worked in the office for a short period of time as well. So I've been involved in mantrailing in different capacities for the last 5 years, mostly teaching students and then also teaching instructors. And I've been lucky enough to travel parts of the world. I do an island, I've been to America, and I've been working in loads of different parts of the world. So I've been very lucky to train lots of places and work with thousands of teams. Absolutely thousands of teams, and I've worked with international guys and operational guys that work in the real world with mantrailing dogs. So anywho, so I am fairly qualified in it. I think in the UK now I'd probably be one of the most experienced mantrailing people out there. That's not blowing my own horn, that's just a fact, but I will blow my own horn a little bit. Only because I've been lucky enough to get into these positions. It hasn't just all been through my knowledge, it has been right place, right time, and I will never begrudge the offers I've been made. Anywho, I am here to talk about high arousal. Why am I bitching about high arousal in dogs? Because I fucked up my first mantrailing dog because of it. I've literally broken him because of the way I trained him. And it took me a while to realise what I'd done because I was so fucking blind to it that I thought that oh no, it's just this, it's just that. So Captain, my Springer, some of you guys have met him. I actually bred him to do mantrailing. I owned his mum. I wanted a high drive Springer that had ability. I picked the line specifically. His mum's super biddable. And I got this little pocket rocket Springer Spaniel. He's perfect. I love him to the moon. And I did everything the way I was taught to do it, without a lot of thought to the fact I'm applying it to a fucking rocket. So we did all the intensity, we did all the high arousal, we did all the wind the dog up, get loads of visual, let him chase the person down, that hunt, prey, devour, like get in on that hunt, prey drive, really wind him up. And fuck me, he's a shit hot mantrailer. I mean shit hot. He is fast, he is fairly accurate for a spaniel, and he gets the job done. He will not give up. If he goes wrong, he will keep fucking searching. He'll work for an hour straight to his own fucking detriment. He's actually pulled that hard now and damaged himself that he has literally ripped the ligaments off the bone in his back legs and his groin. He cannot mantrail ever again. I cannot allow him to mantrail because I know what he'll do. I built an OCD in it to the point where he can, if he's mantrailing, he can drive through ligament snapping. Like, that's not normal. And that's because I've overdone it with him. And it took me a while to realise that. I just thought he was driving. I thought he was going lame because he was just skidding around too much. It's totally my fault. And I have to live with that. I have to live with the fact that I broke my dog doing mantrailing, because I put him in this high arousal state at all times, because that's what I was taught to do. And it's not, I'm not bashing methods here. This isn't what this is about tonight. This is about talking about when to apply things and when not to apply things. And if I'd actually used my behaviourist brain and turned around and gone, don't think this is working, instead of getting stuck in this dopamine cloud that he was in as well and talking about fucking success and running around, I might not have put him in that position. And I have to live with that, and I manage him now, and we do other things, and he lives a normal life, but I can't do the thing I bred him to do. I can't do it with him because it will damage him irreparably. And it may even be a put down to sleep situation because the surgery options are limited on what he's done, the damage he's done. It took me over a year to rehab him. It's taken me a year to get to the point where this dog's off lead. Again, safely, because he will hurt himself, which is a difficult situation. So I started kind of really since I broke him, sitting down and going, something's wrong, something's really wrong. All the kind of foundation stuff that I've been taught, or I've worked with different operational teams in Europe and America, was kind of the teams that I interacted with, not all of them. If things go wrong, do intensity. If the dog's struggling with something, take it back a step to intensity and those foundations. All I'm doing is then adding more chaos, less thinking, and this dog was trying to decide in these chaotic environments. And then what ended up happening was, of course, that the dogs weren't actually learning anything. So I'm hitting these points with these dogs that have been training me a year, 2 years, and I'm looking at them and going, you're hitting brick walls. We're struggling with reading dogs on the behaviour, or the trail still. Shouldn't still be struggling with that. We're struggling to get these dogs to make good decisions when things go wrong. Should not be struggling with that. Struggling with the dogs when you change anything in the environment, you change how the trail areas, you change the context of anything. These dogs are struggling. And like, these teams have been trailing 2 years. They have had trail with me a couple of times a month, every month for the past 2 years, but we are still hitting brick walls. What the hell is happening? Why can't these teams read their dogs? And I sat down and I knew something was wrong. I couldn't work out what it was, and I was asking other people and I couldn't work out what it was. I knew it was something to do with tracking, which is part of the high arousal stuff, but I knew what I was teaching was wrong, but I didn't want to stop teaching them. I don't want to be like, put a pin in it, be like, oh, fuck that, I'll do something else. I wanted to get it right. And it smacked me in the face like a fucking grenade just one day, because I was like, oh, these dogs are fucking high arousal, it's bananas. And I was dealing with one of my Mallee crosses, and I was like, bloody arousal's through the roof, and my brain just ticked across and went, that's what's happening in the Mantrailing Dogs. And I thought, I need to get more knowledge. So since then I have worked with some of the operation guys in Europe. I've worked with Wesley at Set Imprint for Dogs and Ilka at Global Canine, and they guys have been around way longer than mantrailing has been a sport in the UK. So they give me loads of bits of information. But they're not the solve of all the problems. All the problem solving is not just speaking to one people, it's speaking to everybody. And it's getting everybody to kind of realise the idea that arousal does not equal success. There's actually a really good quote by Jay Jack that I've got, oh my god, where is it? I'll find it now. And it's just really interesting that we seem to think the more manic the dog, the more success we're going to build. And I think this has come through this dopamine wildness that we get as individuals. When the dogs are having success and they're finding the person, we're like, yeah, fuck yeah, dopamine, amazing. The dog's on bloody cloud cuckoo land and cloud nine. And actually, they're doing it all in this chaotic state, which is actually really damaging, because arousal, the feeling of arousal that they have is the same when they're scared, and the same when they're angry. It's the same biological response. So these dogs are feeling the same thing that they would feel when they're pissed off or they're cornered, and the same thing when they're feeling helpless. This emotional state is not great a lot of the time, and it's high stress. And it's actually an emotional state we have as handlers, that the dogs think something goes wrong, fucking plummet, man. We fall off the edge of stress. It's amazing, the change it has in these dogs. And it's just really hard work. And we're getting these dogs that are hitting junctions, they can't solve it, and then running around and flying around. I do a lot of work with Carter's Pet Services, Jodie Carter, on working with spaniels. And the biggest thing we do is try and drop their fucking arousal levels on these spaniel workshops, these Mantrailing spaniel workshops. We're dropping their arousal levels all the time, because they can't think like that, because they're a high arousal breed. So when I talk about arousal, often people hear it as high drive. My dog has high drive. It wants to work all day, and it just gets it. It's fucking arousal. So the quote I was trying to say a minute ago was, excitement, frustration equals fuck you. And this is by Jay Jack, who's an American dog trainer. And I think it's a really apt quote that I quite like, is excitement, frustration equals fuck you. The dog's so excited to get started mantrailing. It's frustrated because we're shit fucking handlers and we're not helping you. And then, and they then go, ooh, get me started, shoot off in the wrong direction. He was like, why have I gone the wrong direction? Oh, well, it's because they're fucking pissed off. Like, that's why. They're pissed off. And then they can't get their head in the game because they're so stressed. Then they eventually hit the trail, mainly because we guided them. Then they get on the trail. Then they hit a problem, and then we get involved going, find it, trail, 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 trail. Dog's like, I'm trying! I'm so aroused, I cannot think anymore. So it's mental. So yeah, excitement plus frustration equals fuck you. And that's Jay Jack, that's not me. I've put in many quotes that you can make from me, but most of them involve F words as well. So I try and do analogies that people understand. And I have a toddler at the moment, and I love him to bits, but I get very over-aroused by him. Not in like, if people hear aroused, my sexual word, in a kind of, I can't cope. Because he's going mum, 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 and then the dog's running around, and this happening, and that happening, and there's something going wrong, and I haven't done the washing, I haven't done this. There's 40,000 things going on in my house, and ADHD hits in, and my brain just falls off, and I can't deal with the fact that he's just talking to me. All he wants is a glass of milk, but my brain falls out his arse, and I can't function. I can't do that thing for him because there's 40,000 things going on. And we're asking our dogs to find one person in the scent of what could be thousands of people if you're doing it in a town. And they can smell everything that's been there in the last, well, say 12 hours, in the last 12 hours. So they're wading through that. There's cars, there's horns, there's other noises, there's other people still putting fresh trails out, there's other dogs, there's 4,000 other things going on. And you're asking your dog to find a single needle in a haystack, and we wonder why they struggle. It's because we're trying to teach them when everything's blaring in their face. And then we go, oh, the dog's not doing it. What we'll do is we'll wind them up, make them really stressed, and shoot around the corner. And this dog just goes, I don't fucking know where they've gone, but I've got to find them. Flies off like a lunatic around the corner. Usually, eyes in the air, fucking looking at everything because someone's wound them up. And then finds a person, gets rewarded. What we're rewarding? It's a fucking chaos. And that's what's pissing me off right now. And that's what's hitting me in the face. I'm like, hold a minute, I've just spent a year and a bit rewarding the chaos. Longer than that, it's almost 5 years. Rewarding the chaos in these dogs. And now I'm stripping it back and I'm looking at each dog individually and really looking at what that breed is like, what the individual is like, what that dog's prior learning is like, and going, oh shit, this needs changing. We teach everything when we start mantrailing in a high arousal state. And yeah, for some dogs that's fine, they can do it. They are the bee's knees. It's the top fucking 10% of dogs. The other 90% fall apart. Because as soon as we take that intensity away and that arousal, they're either not learning or they don't give a shit. Or we put arousal in, we keep it there, and the dog's not thinking anymore. And it's so obvious, but for some reason in mantrailing, we've got into this rut of just thinking, oh, I thought I'd fix something, make the dog more wild. You wouldn't do that in reactivity training. And not at one point would you go, oh, my dog wants to fucking bite people, so what I'll do is I'll run around like a chicken and send them arousal. We spend half our life going, hey, less arousal. You've got a dog that does other sports, it's over the top, it's biting its handler, it's redirecting, it's being a pain in the bum. We teach them to be calmer in those environments. If you have a scent work dog that is running up and down the fucking room like a lunatic and can't focus, you put the lead on and you teach them how to do things in a steady, methodical way, and you reward methodicalness. In mantrailing, all we reward is the dog getting to the end of the trail. We don't reward any calmness on the trail. We don't reward any sensible thinking. We don't actually reward anything that we actually want on the trail. We only reward the end of the trail. And that's a fucking problem, because the end of the trail is usually super chaotic because dogs come in on air scent. We then run intensity straight afterwards. Again, dog's head fall off because a bloody prey's just pegged it. And they're stressed because they're not going to get the food. They're not going to get the reward of the handler. And then we expect them to go back in the car and think about that. Arousal levels are currently up here, so go put back in their cardboard box and go, holy fuck. Like, they need to be in the car to calm down because they're up here, but then they're being shoved in there. So we're getting lots of dogs that are starting to refuse to go in cars or find the cars quite negative. So, like, I'm looking at this going, there's a fucking big problem. So, and it's not going to go away, but I just wish people would think a little bit harder and look at their dogs. And I dropped off, unbeknownst to me, for quite a while, I dropped off arousal, like, on the intensity trails. There was no visual, no nothing. On the trails, I was already pushing dogs onto scent auto starts faster than what the book says. And taking away a lot of the arousal intentionally. I just didn't realise I was doing it. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm taking arousal. It was just like, oh no, this dog's just a bit wild. Like, we'll just advance it on a little bit and just have a look at, we'll readjust the foundations as we need to. The foundations aren't going back to intensity. The foundations aren't revisiting the chaos. The foundations are, does your dog fucking understand the game you've given them? Which I don't think 90% of mantrailing dogs do understand the game in the way we want them to. So the understanding of the mantrailing dogs is find a person. Come hell or high water by any means necessary. Which is why they run around like headless chickens, try and kill themselves in road, and when they get into proximity of the trail layer, throw themselves through the scent pool and try and kill themselves. The fan trail layer. The only reward they get out of mantrailing is finding the person. Some dogs will focus on the trail and trail beautifully, and then we get pissed off because they don't want to find the person because they're following the scent. And yeah, man, the trail layer, because they're so busy scenting and following the scent, that there is no reward in the person, there is only reward in the scent. So then we get annoyed because they're not doing what we want. And then we get annoyed that our dogs aren't accurate, so we want to be more accurate. So we stop them casting, we stop them doing things, we stop them reducing the arousal in their system by running around. We get all up in their face and we get frustrated, which then sets the dogs more stressed. And around and around and around we fucking go. So I usually say to people, don't speak to your dog on the trail. Don't say anything to them. Don't reward them when they're right. They can do it by themselves. That's what I was taught, and that's what I thought was right. And the reason I thought that was right for a long time was because it made sense. Don't get in their way. They don't need you. They're going to work without you. Absolutely makes sense. But now I've started, if people got a reward marker word or got a reward word, but when that dog is nose down, when that dog is calm, when that dog is working beautifully, good dog, well done, nice, yes, okay, whatever your fucking reward marker is, whatever your reward word is, and that dog's like, oh, I've got this right, super. We're just adding in on the trail a little, well done, same as you would do with a clicker if your dog was doing something correct. The dog was offering the behaviour you want. Rewards are not just for the end game; they're for part of they're for the learning. And this is something in mantrailing we are not doing. We are not doing. This is not to say that when your dog puts his nose down, you go "Caw-caw!" and lose your mind. No, it's just good dog, well done, good, yes. Oh my god, that's just so awesome. Have a little conversation, quick. You're awesome when they're doing it right. When your instructor tells you that dog is on the trail and doing it beautifully, not when you think it's on the trail. When that dog's working, when that dog comes in the trail nice and calm. Oh, good dog, you're so good. You have your food, that's nice and calm. Let's be calm. We find the trail layer. Let's not be chaotic. And just building it back a little bit. So I found that rewarding on the trail, where not rewarding like stopping rewarding, as in just a reward marker where they're doing correct, is just going to really help dogs. Dropping intensity. Intensity, as described in the Mantrailing Global Method and the Cocker Method, is firing the dogs up with visual, showing the pots, and then running hell for leather around the corner. The dog goes, oh my god, pray. No, gone. We're not doing that on my sessions anymore unless we desperately need the dog to focus on trail layer. Usually don't need dogs to focus on trail layer 90% of the time, because the dogs get how to use their nose. They get it. They are smart animals. So really, really need to look at them and go, your nose is a fucking shit tons better than ours. That we use 5% of our brain for processing scent. They use 35% of their brain for processing scent. So that's, well, I don't know what the percentage is. What is that? 7 times better than us. 6-7 times better than processing. And we think they can't find a person. That dog can fucking find a person. All we've done is made it a really hard job to do it. We've made it so much harder than it needs to be by the way we've been taught and the way that we are teaching dogs to do things. I'm not trying to poo-poo methods. I know I have named methods. It's not that there's anything wrong with them. It just doesn't work for every dog. It's just not going to work for every dog, simple as. It works for thousands of dogs. Those methods have been around way longer than I've been around, doing mantrailing or even teaching dogs. But they're not going to work for everything. There's, you can name all the fucking companies. There's dogs that I'm working with that I really want to do tracking with to help them calm down the trail. Dogs are bored shitless by tracking. It's not going to work for them. So coming round to tracking, and how it's important is tracking teaches dogs to use ground scent. Most mantrailing dogs are efficient air scenters, whereas tracking teaches dogs to keep their nose grounded to the ground, and the reward comes from the trail because we use food or toys along the track when we're teaching it, and then you wean them out. But the reward remains. It's like when you reward your dog for sitting and you use food as a puppy and then you wean the food out. The dog still feels good sitting and still gets an emotional response. And it will continue to do that behaviour in order to get a reward, whether it's from us, food, or the environment. So, same mantrailing. When you take the food off the track and you start to add a person in the end, the person has a reward, the dog still gets value out of the track. It's not stupid, but it's just hard work to do. I enjoy tracking, but it's taken me 6 months to teach my brain that tracking is fun. I had to train my own brain and build that dopamine in to get there. So tracking is a really useful thing to help dogs get better at mantrailing and be more focused on the trail. Get rid of intensity, start marking on the trails. The other things that you can do is taking the intensity trail off the end, so don't add the crazy in, take that away because we're only reinforcing the chaos. Why would you do a really good trail and then add a little one on the end and fuck it up? That's what I've seen recently. Dogs doing stonking trails, like, yeah, do intensity trail, and then fucking fall apart because they're up on the trail. I'm like, oh, brilliant, that brilliant trail's just gone in the bin. Who gives a shit? Because the dog has struggled. And I'm not taking away loads of not intensity trail for every dog, but some dogs just don't need it. They have a really good trail. I'm not going to risk that success by putting somebody in a bush around a corner. It's not worth it. Like, dogs not seeing the start of the trail. Like, it's really important that if you're doing a start where the dog doesn't need any visual, which is 90% of starts, put the dog in a fucking car. It shouldn't see anything. It shouldn't know what's going on. You want the dog to use a brain. The dog to go, oh, we went over that way. Who gives a shit? Get yourself ready. Stop standing at the front of the trail going, get your line up, I can't get my line, I've got the harness on, I've got to put a bandana on the dog, oh, I didn't put my app on. I will throw your fucking phone in the bush if you come to me at the beginning of the trail and go, I need to put my app on. No, you don't. You don't even know how long this trail is. You should have put that on at the car before you got the fucking dog out. If you put an extra 5 metres on the trail, it's not a problem. Pisses me off is that dog's going trails here, trails here, trails here, trails here, trails here. Mum, come on, trails here. I'm getting fed up with this. I'm getting fed up with this. I need to go. I need to get my reward. I need to get the rewards at the end. The rewards not the start. The rewards at the end. Dogs get more and more wound up. You're pulling the dog away from the trail because it's pulling the phone out of your hand, and you're trying to bloody get the GPS to work, and then the dog's pissed off. So when you go, okay, sniff trail, dog goes, well, I can't fucking think now because you spent 5 minutes pissing about with your phone. It's the same as if you want to go out. If you're one of those people that wants to get out of the house and your partner or your parents or your friend, you're like, come on, we need to go. 6 o'clock, we need to be leaving now. We need to be there by 6:30. Oh, I'm just getting ready. But like, we need to go now. We agreed 6 o'clock. We agreed 6 o'clock. Why are you mucking about? Oh, well, I'm just getting my shoes on. Well, can you hurry up? Because we're going to be late now. And that's giving me anxiety. That's increasing my adrenaline. That's increasing my arousal levels. I need to go. And the person goes, I need a wee. And you're like, oh, you don't need a wee. You're pucking around now. And you get confrontational. You get pissed off. That's it. I'm not going. Fucking throw the keys through the window. I'm not going. I refuse to go now because why are you being so arsy? You're going to be 5 minutes late. Well, no, because I now can't function as a person because I'm stressed. So it's the same as dogs. We're mucking about at the beginning. Dog gets pissed off with us. mucking about at the end with the trail there, dog gets pissed off at us. These dogs do really, really well considering how shit we can be as handlers. And it's... You see my arousal levels are up. We do so shit as handlers, and we hinder them at all times. And then when the dog isn't right, we blame the dog. I'm fucking sorry. That dog can survive without us and use its nose without us. It can also mantra without us. Stop fucking putting your problems on your dog and start looking at what you're actually teaching your dog to do. So I'm gonna just shut up for a minute and read the comments. So if you agree with me, disagree with me, like, come at me, guys. Add some bits in the comments for me. I realise I'm just rambling like fuck, but it's because it's important to me, and my arousal levels are high. It's important to me that people start to think about this more. You need to fucking think about how you're mantrailing with these dogs. If you're just starting your journey, then yes, majority of instructors in the UK are going to use intensity to get you involved on it. Yes, fine, at the beginning. Make sure you're getting pushed onto delayed, or definitely sent article starts fairly quickly, so that dog is using its nose and not seeing people. Make sure you are understanding how your dog works, and don't be pressured into doing things that you're uncomfortable with for your individual dog's need. Like, let's strip it back and let's have a look at what that dog needs specifically. So we've got lots of people across the country. Kathryn Mosley, who's actually a lovely dog trainer at Journal with me, currently looking at the same thing for different angles. I'm also having a deep dive into arousal and how to sling with frustration. Arousal and frustration, fucking, you know. Claire's put, that's why I'm anal about making sure everything's set up and ready before he gets out of the car. So Claire, for any people that know, has a very, very high arousal working cocker. And he is shit hot, but he is hard work. And if he sees the person go, he loses his mind. So there's nothing to possibly upset the idiot, and we can get with one thing we like doing together. I refuse from very early to do anything but set article starts, and also taking Raw back at the trail list and calmly sneak away while he's eating, but he's still wondering if I drop intensity trail. To be honest, I would, with Claire, after I'm going to see in a couple of weeks, is my biggest discussion, the first discussion was going to be when I saw you in the tracking workshop was going to be, I think you should drop intensity trails with Wally, because I was actually thinking about him the other day, talking about high arousal spaniels or something. I was like, I know a dog like this. Because I think there's some dogs that we need to strip those intensity trails off and that expectation of chaos, because even if the dog doesn't see anybody go, they know they've gone, and it's that expectation of chaos at the end. Norma with Lucy. Lucy is a lovely, proper, like, little mixed terrier. She's some sort of terrier. She's super high drive. Her and Wally are like the same energy. Like, it's just like this all the time. All you can see is chaos. And it's she's wild, and she's an island. We had a discussion recently about what Lucy's learning, and we've had a discussion about dropping intensity and working differently, and it's working with that dog, and what's it's looking at individuals, and it's made a difference to how Lucy trails. So Kathryn's latest arousal frustration light bulb was, training is not teaching dog. They can do 9% what we train. Training is actually communication, how we tell dogs what we're looking for. Fuck yes, Kathryn. It's what it is. We're communicating with them. And what we're not communicating mantrailing is what we want, which is nose down, follow the trail as accurately as we can get, but we're not on anal about being 100% on it, because we don't know 100% where it is. And then find the person. Brilliant. It's not make a mad dash to get to the end like a fucking lunatic. And Denise put, my hench Scooby-Doo knob pedigrees, hashtag not dying today. Hench Scooby-Doo knobhead is a rather large Malinois cross, fucking big ass Rottweiler, Kittery, Husky things. I can't remember exactly what he is, but he's big and he knows it. And he would happily take the knees off her feet given half a chance. So we had a good discussion about pushing him to send articles, getting him to trail, to slow down, because he's hard work, and he actually gets pissed off with it because he's like, yeah, fuck off, mate. I got things to do. So, so Dawn Ciego's agreed with me. She's put, she's actually dropped off some intensity with some dogs because it's too much faffing about. So drop off intensity because their trail's been so good. Why would you do something else? And yeah. We all fuck around at the start. Like, we get that the dogs do get on with it, but we need to be more conscious about actually helping our dogs. Bernie's put, I have 2 dogs that are polar opposites, man training. The spaniel's over-aroused and needs to be brought down. The oldie collie is happy with intensity, plods along happily. I'm glad she likes it. Has highlighted how over-aroused my spaniel is. So yeah, so every dog's different. Some dogs need a bit of winding up. Like, come find me, woohoo! Like, I've got a German Shepherd Tighter, my big white one. If you didn't like put like some sort of arousal in, like kick him into second gear, he'd never find anybody man trailing. he has to have a push into second gear. My Springer Spaniel is on NOS, and he is in a rally car, and he is on a racetrack at all times. Don't need more in that. But Titan, I need to be like, kickity. But where's the right time for it? Titan is a pet line white German Shepherd, not really bred to do anything. Captain is a purpose-bred, man-trailing high arousal dog, bred in for the chaos. Regretted it. I've got another Springer, Jin. She's amazing, bred for chaos, because she's fucking field trial champion lines, and she means business. She's chaos, I let her. Jane's put train dogs in whatever endeavour with fixed recipes or a set plan is always going to create unexpected fallout, and that is exactly right, Jane. This is not one recipe to bake something. This is not one set plan. This is looking at the dog in front of you and having a think about where you're progressing and what this dog's actually understanding. What do you think your dog understands this game? And then get other people to talk with you. What do they expect? You know, I know what I can see, but I've spent my decade of my life, bear in mind I am 30, so I've spent a third of my life literally hell-bent on focusing on dogs. And the rest of it was school. So I've it's a third of my life focusing on it. I can see it a mile off in most cases, not all. There's some breeds I don't know. So Sarah Henderson, who actually was trailing me today, was so pleased with the tendency to delay quickly. Finn is almost exclusive to send after starts, and he only works with instructors who really will work with this. Really frustrating when you say, oh, I have to do a tendency of delayed starts. The trailers don't listen to instructions. So Sarah's got a beautiful Springer Cross Clumber who is shit hot. But if you look at him, if you excite him in any way, shape or form, or he sees the trail air go, he cannot control himself. So today we had this like high arousal with him. It wasn't because of the head trail air. We were literally in the middle of Alder Street in town. It was really weirdly busy. I think it was market day, and it was super busy, and he a lot of times he stopped and he cried and he stood there and he was wagging side to side, and his whole energy was like this because there was so much going on. There was cars, there was people, there was smells, and somewhere in all that mix was this one scent of this trail layer, and he was like, I can do this, but oh my god, and he was vibrating. It's like, I can do this. And then he went. If he'd seen the trail layer go, his head would have fallen off. He would have thrown himself under a car in stress. He was stressed by the fucking environment because there was so many thought processes little spaniel brain had to go through. But he did it. And he did it good. And we still do intensity with him. We don't do a fire up intensity. He doesn't see the person go, person walks off. Maybe it's a conversation to have with Sarah that we remove that for him, so there's no opportunity for him to see. But he likes when people, but the person cannot interact with him because he loses his mind. Strangers cannot interact with him because he loses his mind. You're literally a food dispenser. And since Sarah's worked with really good instructors and got to that point, because Sarah's only just started working recently because she's moved closer, she's had a fucking brilliant instructor with Natasha Filler at Poodoroo, Follow the Nose, who has sussed what this dog's need and adapted the man trailing for it, because she's looked at the individual. And when Sarah's unfortunately had bad situations when she's gone to other instructors like, oh, you gotta do hunting trails, it's taken her fucking weeks to sort a dog out, because then he comes to man training and high as a kite, which is not what we want. He's not thinking, he's clearly stressed, but he wants to do it. It's fun stress, still fucking stress. Like, I'm stressed about going on a roller coaster, but it's fun stress, but it's still stress, still has an impact on my body. Rose has put, this is what I found my cocker who loses interest, intensity start. Yeah, and our kind of guidelines for lots of the sports is put more intensity. Next, put when you break it down like this, it makes sense. At times when people are rigid and think everything fits every dog, but every dog is different. Yeah, like, it's every dog's different, and we need to stop under this ideology that every dog's the same. I don't know where it's come from. It's really ingrained in man training for some reason, and I think it's come from lots of different sources, that you must do things this way, because there's loads of people doing it in different capacities. Sports is still fairly new. It's only about 8 years old in the UK. It's a bit more in Europe, not really much in America, so it's still building up. Kirsty Watts, I found it virtually impossible not to compliment Flora on good work on the trail. Check injections, lovely. So Flora's a Newfoundland, and she needs that good girl, because then she goes, yeah, I am, and carries on, because she's a lower arousal dog. But we wouldn't dream of doing intensities with her. Like, Kirsty, die. No, she's good on delayed, and she's good on sent article, because she can do this by herself. So Kira Maher, who I've had an opportunity to work with, she's a lovely Irish instructor. She's super duper. Totally agree. I'm an instructor and literally only ever used tendencies the first couple of occasions to teach the game. I've always instinctively aimed for calm. To be honest, I actually struggle to think of any clients that will benefit from the need of intensity. My dogs love mantrailing and motivate without the need of intensity or even high value rewards. So I've seen Kira move. She has lovely little show cockers, and Billy, her little show cocker, could absolutely pip a Springer to the post. Working on a Springer, she's fast, she's accurate, she's keen, and she just goes along like a little steam. She looks like a little Dougal as she works, because Kira's put the foundations in a way that works for that dog, and she hasn't gone, it needs more intensity, which is amazing. And I've seen this dog work, and I was just in awe of her. And I turned to Kira, I was like, oh my god, how are you getting this? And we had a discussion about it, and it was amazing, because she talked about tracking, she talked about how she worked the dogs. I love it. Laura Kirk, I dropped intensity, dropped the starting ritual, bring in some bit more tracking for some teams. Yeah, started to adapt it as needed. When tracking, Pete always tells you how good how good they've been. So Dawn's referring to Peter, who does the injured deer tracking, Pete Cheeseman, that's the word, injured deer tracking. And it was really interesting when I did an injured deer tracking course, how well the dogs cope with age. Like, there's no intensity. They don't ever see the deer run off, ever. The deer's been dead for a period of time, and they find them fine. And it's not because it's a dead deer, because it's really hard to find a dead deer because the track's really small. It's because they like doing it, and because there's incremental build up to where they are. Well, they reward every section. Mantrailing, we don't have enough increment. I don't think we build enough of that in. We just kind of aim for the end, and the increments are changing starts as opposed to changing focus on the trail. Claire's just talking about Wally, so kept the manage different because it seemed to be part of his war structure. But another thing I'm working on means second trail won't be happening, as he's just got to be following odour, not human scent, to get more out of it. So we'll be interested to see when I switch into temporary the difference. So we'll have a discussion when I see you, Claire, and we can kind of have a little bit of see what's what, and then take some videos. And then if because he's used to having that second trail, that intensity trail, even without the visual, if we change that up, will that affect other things? So it's different. So Amy's put, remove intensity starts quickly with the terrier, so she's got a very, very nice working Patterdale terrier that is very high arousal. And then she has a German Shepherd that's actually come through me that again has arousal issues. It made such a big difference because they went on to St. Antoine's pretty quickly, and recently removed a little intensity trail at the end, and we think we're going to track them all together. Just winds them up when they're getting really don't need it. Getting dogs straight out to go with no ritual faff and harnessing really made a difference too. Previously they got focused on the person visually, weren't focused on scent, and their brain exploded. So I know with your shepherd, she comes up pretty harness, pre-lined. They do the trail, no intensity. Dog is doing amazing. And Amy has adapted to dogs. Amy is a dog trainer. She knows her stuff. She knows her dogs, and she's working with instructors that are helping her. So yeah, it makes a big difference to have a little look at all those different parts that we can change and we can do. It's like Meccano, like you can build one car, you build a different car, everything's interchangeable. It doesn't not make it a car, it just might look differently, and interchanging it to work for that environment needed. I'm curious, but there's no way putting all the faff, the harness stays on my dogs. It's like arresting an octopus. Even when she's waiting in the car. Yeah, I got that one. So Norma's also added, also for people like me, dog look gone crazy, get out of the van, we need to calm down, just stop sending stress on the lead. Stop sending us on the lead, that's another good one as a handler, because we get pissed off because we're not starting fast enough, and the line gremlins have got you. There's line gremlins, doesn't matter what you do, the fucking line gremlins get you. I wish my lines could be marketed as anti-tangle, but they're not, they tangle too. Yeah, it's all frustration. We build the dog, which builds high arousal, which creates problems. If we can make things smooth, if we can make things streamlined, makes all the difference. When we're doing other sports, we don't fuck around for 20 minutes with a piece of equipment. And I know we talk about the harness being like the indicator for working, like you're doing mantrailing. Yes, some dogs it makes a big difference. Most dogs, they know mantrailing because they see me and they go, oh, fucking hell, it's Kathryn. Where's someone hide? Who's hidden? Who's hidden? We're at 7. It's 7 o'clock at night. We're out in the woodlands, and there's 6 other people. It's clearly mantrailing. Like the dogs know what's happening. They're not stupid. So Alex, who's got a Malinois, and she's a sexy lady. She's lovely. I don't mantrail, but I do a bit in self-taught deer tracking. High intensity darts have been a nightmare. I'm trying to manage the arousal, impulse, chase, but also keep the drive to find. So yeah, so if you put high arousal in his Malinois to find an injured deer, he's going to potentially have a dog trying to kill a live deer. No, it's that they know how to do stuff. Why do we think they don't know how to do stuff? They know how to survive without us. And we're like, yeah, you need to make them really want the person. The dog, 90% of people want to find people because the dogs, so 90% of dogs want to find people because they fucking like people. Yes, there's 10% that don't. Bernie says they know, her dogs know when she's mantrailing because they make the pots. Of course they know. I've got a Manchester Terrier that came training today. She was screaming back in the car because her owners have made the pot and the dog's like, mantrailing! And the dog's been going ballistic all morning until she arrived because she's seen the pots. That dog's already in a high arousal state. I'm not now going to let it see the damn trail layer go because his head's going to fucking fall off because it went ballistic when it saw some pots full of usually dog food and a strawberry. This dog gets the highlight. I tell you what, strawberry and blueberry in its pots. So yeah, there's never going to be a one size fits all for this dog training, and that's what's being hammered out in Manchester at the moment. That's what we all believed, and I think we need to have a little bit of think and a little bit smack in our face and kind of go no. And what can I do to help it? Can I reduce the arousal at the start? Can I reduce the arousal at the end? And can I reward the behaviour I want on the trail? So Amy's like a good calm, good on the trail is a really nice good going marker for Noddy, her little Patterdale, and it's made a difference. So his confidence is negative. So a negative is where the dog goes, oh, there's no trail here, and it's much easier to read. And yeah, I think I've told you, Amy, as well, don't speak to your dog. So initially she's been told not to speak to dog, not say anything. I know I've said that to loads of people, like, oh, don't speak to them, they can do it without you, they need to do it without you. And now I'm like, what the fuck was I on? Like, yes, they can do it without you, but why should they? They're supposed to be a fucking team sport. It's a dog-led sport, but it's still a team sport. Like, you are involved in this. And you know, when they get it right, when they're doing it the way that you want and the way you can read the dog, so when it gives a really clear, oh fuck, I've lost the trail negative, and turns around and comes back, and you go, oh good dog, thanks for showing me that behaviour. It's really nice, I can actually read that. But when you don't reward it and you don't respond to these things, the dog starts to do other things. Dog's behaviour on the trail is not for us, it's their emotional response. And if their emotional response is, hey, I've gone wrong here, fuck, I've gone wrong, start stressing and then looking for the trail, that's not what we want. If the dog goes, fuck, I've lost the trail, oh, damn it, right, I'll turn around and be like, good dog, and I go, okay, it's okay to make a mistake, it's okay to work back, it's okay to do these decisions and be dogs, like, it makes a difference. So I'm twitching around the place now, like a little, I don't know, it's a fucking jumping bean, because adrenaline's coursing through my system talking about arousal. Can I say, this isn't out to bash methods, I know it'll come across as that, like, that's not what I'm after at all. What I'm after about is you looking at the individual dog in front of you and looking, is my dog aroused? So what can I do to reduce it? So like Claire's put, it doesn't need to be a distracting running commentary to the dog. Some handlers are too much, but I ask them to keep quiet. So yeah, it's balance. Can we reward the right behaviour? I think we just let the dog work without us. You know, with talking the trail. This isn't, rewarding the right behaviour is different to having a conversation with your dog and then distracting them. Go trail, 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 trail. Honestly, so yeah, it's just, I want people to think a bit more about it and then potentially look at the dog and come up with solutions for it. I can't provide all the answers on a live because I can't see your dogs. You as a handler or you as an instructor working with teams need to decide what works for that dog in front of you and what methodology works for that dog in front of you and what resonates with you. If you want to continue to use a specific methodology, that's fine, do it. That's entirely up to you. There's no one's going to stop you. I'm never going to stop anybody doing something that works for them, but I will comment if it doesn't work for the dog, if that doesn't work for the dog, because at the end of the day, this is supposed to be benefit the dog, it's supposed to be for the reward of the dog, it's supposed to be for the enjoyment of the dog. And I'm seeing a lot of man-trailing dogs not enjoy man-trailing. They do it, they do not enjoy it, because that cortisol level, that stress level, that feeling is the same feeling as fear. That's the same emotional response in their body as anger. Some of these dogs are getting out and doing it because of the dopamine release, the addiction. And the addiction feels good, but it doesn't feel good at the same time. There is an addiction, remember. There is a high dopamine release in mantrailing because it's hunting. It doesn't mean it's good for them. And it also doesn't mean it's the right thing to do for that dog. And that's where mantrailing's gone wayward. It's not about stopping doing high arousal stuff. It's not about not training dogs in high arousal states. It's about looking what that specific dog needs and the specific method that works for that dog. I've mentioned 2 methods because those are the methods I've had a lot of dealings with, and I've worked with a lot of teams, and I've worked with a lot of instructors that teach like that. Fine. I'm working with other methods now, setting print for dogs and the global canine method. Doesn't mean that in 2 years' time I might adapt some stuff from them. I'm adapting now. I'm taking lots of different things. Everything's ever changing. I have told people to not talk to dogs on trail. I've told people they must do intensive trail because that's what you're supposed to do. I've told people to do all the things I'm telling people right now not to do. And I will hold my hands up and say I did that. And potentially along the way I've caused trouble for those dogs or those handlers. I know I have for my own dogs. But I want to hold my hands up and say it, that I fucked up. And I'm still going to fuck up. I'm only human. But now if I can fuck up less dogs and people, I'll be very happy. Because it's still learning. Even as a dog trainer, sometimes I've gone in and offered training and gone, oh, okay, yeah, let's do these 5 things. We'll see in 2 weeks do a difference. I'm like, oh no, that has not helped. Shit. Right, here's what we do. And we've changed it. I've done my own dogs. I've changed how I train dogs mid-training. I've gone, this isn't working for you. That's called being human, but that's also called being adaptive and looking at the dog in front of you. So I'm not out to bash anybody. I'm not out to fucking tell you what to do. What I want this live to achieve is that you think about how you do things with dogs. So you might remove the intensity. You might remove it at the start. You might put the dog into straight on delayed or straight onto scent article start. You might move the intensity trail at the end. You might add tracking. You might take tracking away. If you do tracking, you might find the tracking distracts your dog. You might change how the trail layer interacts with dogs. More intensity trail, less intensity trail layer. You might add reward on the trail through verbal, through your body language being praised and being happy and dancing with the dogs. You are going to adapt what you do, but it's important that you adapt. You can add play at the end to disperse arousal. So play can increase arousal, but playing with a toy might disperse it. The dog gets in and goes, oh fuck, I can't do this. And instead of doing intensity trail, the person went off, you get a toy and you're like, right, you've worked so hard, beat 7 shits out of this toy squirrel. And the dog has a whale of a time beating 7 shits out of this toy squirrel. To reduce the stress and go, oh, I need to bite something and fight it. I feel so good because now I've beaten 7 shits out of this squirrel. Like, but that also might increase the arousal. So some dogs are like, let's get the toys out, blah, and the dog just goes through the moon and tries to bite its handler. So, you know, reducing the fucking about with the harness, get the dog pre-harnessed the car, pre-lined, do the ritual, but do the ritual massive. So do a massive big scent inventory. Give that time, the dog time to check everything, to calm down. Maybe do 2 circles. Okay, like, let's calm, let's calm. Okay, we're ready to go because we got out of the car and collect cuckoo lamb because the dog saw the pots at home. So maybe do 2 circles with that dog. Or we do no circles. We might come in straight on the scent article, we might come in for an angle on the scent article, we might have the scent article up high because that makes the dog think differently and has to solve a little puzzle before they go on the trail or a transfer start. None of that's wrong if applied in the correct way. So yeah, so sorry guys, I'm really wittering about this because there's so many things whizzing around my head. I'm like, I can't tell you anymore, my hate will fall apart. I'm trying to pull up one of my slides. So yeah, and no visual's a big one, like no visual. The Mantrailing dogs, they shouldn't be seeing anybody. They fucking use their nose on purpose. So Bernie's added those snuffle clam toys, etc. at the end to help AJ. So yeah, so he's not playing, he's got to take all his stress out on beating 7 shits out of that clamshell, pull his food out and use his nose for good. So he finishes on some good sniffs as opposed to on chaos. It's really helpful. You know, the clamshell toys are brilliant. And I highly recommend them. So definitely stuff like that's brilliant. Or I've had somebody give toilet tubes for treats in, and a dog rips the toilet tube up and gets the food at the end of the trail. I think it was a spaniel, I can't remember who it was, a little while ago. So that, you know, that could be an option. Claire's put, I've huge success with clients with high drive using high tech articles. Yeah, a little bit of a puzzle to solve before we start. Just tickle that brain down could be quite useful. So definitely, it's good. Has anybody got anything else to add? I've talked at you for 50 minutes straight, guys. You've got to be fed up of hearing my voice by now. I say this doesn't go out and shout at people and tell people they're doing stuff wrong. It's to go out and maybe offer a suggestion that might help that dog. And as an instructor, maybe not as a student to another student, probably not a good idea. And like it's just have a little bit more of a think, please. So Sarah's put, putting wet food in the tub rather than just chicken or liver cake has helped with the calm down with the licking. So yeah, that's one thing actually. We've just been around Mantrailing for a long time, and a really good thing is wet food in it, so dogs got to lick it out. They come in, they can't, like, oh, this is delicious. You know, who's had a really nice chocolate pudding that they've savoured every bite and it's so good. And you're like, I just want to savour every bite. And then sometimes you'll eat pudding and you're like, yes, nice, whatever, and they eat it. Because it's just easy to consume. So that nice licking that builds that nice desire, and it reduces stress. We know that licking reduces stress in the dogs. So, brilliant. It's so Norma's put, the Cocker method says party with the dog at the end of the trail. I love very on that Lucy has no interest in partying me once she's found a trail layer. So don't bother. It shows every dog is different. Yeah, absolutely. So Lucy is massively people focused and massively focused on Norma, but is not interested in partying because she's got to a person. She's happy she's found a person. That's her individual one. Licky Treat's good. Dawn Sagers listened to some of my older lives today. She messaged me about a few of them. You're gonna be fed up with listening to me all day, Dawn. Yeah, my voice can get a bit monotone after a while, and me ranting. I'm aware that I tend to bounce around a little bit when I'm talking. Kirsty's put, keep observing your dog and record your observations, so much to learn. Yeah, logbooks are brilliant. And I think that's something that's really important. It's been in sports since the beginning, and it should continue to be in sports, is log down your every trail, whether you're doing assessments or not. Log it down and really, really keep notes of when your dog's having success and when it's not having success. Have you changed something to build that success? Like, not, oh yeah, trail was really good. Like, what did you do on that trail? Like, as an instructor, I'm not going to write loads of shit, but you as a handler should be. Kathryn's put, looking forward to next weekend, see what you can come up with a crazy dopey dog and crazy pup. Dopey dog. So Kathryn's got a super little high drive English toy terrier that's massive, and then like this no, I'm not doing that twice shepherd cross who is a funny dog because he doesn't need intensity. Like, he doesn't want to see the person go, but equally if you make it too hard he just goes, well, fuck them, they're dead. Whereas a puppy's like, find everybody and everything. Yeah, I swear a lot when I'm passionate. I don't always notice I'm doing it. How Charlie's like 3, my little boy, in a couple of weeks, and why he is not swearing at people I don't know, because he should be by now. So Alex has put, any advice for under arousal, if you want a better way of putting it, like when a dog shakes and basically saying, sorry mum, dad, I can't find it. Do you reward the failure, or don't you do anything other than backtrack and find the scent again? So if the dog stops the trail and goes, oh, I can't find it, and looks at the handler for help. So if the dog stops and goes, I don't know, and asks the handler for help, then I'm going to take the dog back to the point it had it last, the point I knew or thought that dog was on the trail. I might say, yeah, good dog, like just a quick acknowledgement that they struggled, or just a quick, come on, let's go. So I'm not going to actively reward it with a command they understand as a reward, but I'm not going to use a harsh tone. I'm going to use a chipper tone to keep them going. And some dogs I would just turn around and walk back and not say anything, but I think the majority of dogs I'd be like, go on then, and just, like, I'm not having a go, but I'm equally not rewarding it. So yeah, so Foggy Brocker, there's a lot of people on there wondering anyone else's Mantrail along by Flyball. I think it's just one of your dogs. I don't know anybody else that's on Flyball with Mantrailing, actually. Mantrailing Agility, yep, and then Amy's Devon Flyball with Pure Brave Fly. Yeah, I bet it was. Agility Hoopers instead. Flyball's really high arousal. It's where the dogs really injure themselves in often cases, so it's not a sport I've ever been involved in. I'm just stuff on the grapevine, and you tend to hear more negative stuff on your behaviours. I'm like, Flyball pup is not a good idea for your dog. A lot of barking, a lot of mucking about for some dogs. But other dogs, it's like the best thing in the world, and it's their release. Yeah, Wally was better for Flyball, but you'd have to live with him, and Flyball's probably not a good idea for Wally. He'd be very good at it. I'm just drinking some Irish gin with some lemonade. Very nice. But yeah, it's just a waffle, guys. Like, the talking trailing group for me is an opportunity for me to talk at people and get their opinions back on a bigger platform than in person. Because anybody that has traveled in person knows that this is kind of what I'm like 24/7 when I'm trailing. It's like, oh, I'm high arousal. I am a Springer Spaniel. I identify as a Springer Spaniel across Malinois, I'm sure I do. This is what I'm like when I'm teaching. So yeah, if you want to get a workshop and deal with this, absolutely come and join me. You're just happy to like mute me on the screen, be my guest. So it's, yeah, I'm just really passionate about anything to do with mantrailing because it fills my dopamine needs. I enjoy it with my dogs, I enjoy the learning, and actually I enjoy helping people with their dogs. I love a problem to solve. That's why I like behaviour work. I just don't like the people that don't listen. But people that come mantrailing do listen, and they want to learn, so they take everything on board and usually apply it. Whereas behaviour consults and general dog training, people go, I don't want to do that because it's hard work. No, well, it's going to help the dog, isn't it though? I'm just being lazy. So that's why I like mantrailing more. And it makes my dopamine tickle around my brain, and it's nice. So it's good. It's good. But yeah, if you get on this recording and you don't agree with what I've said and you think I'm a cock, that's fine. Put it in the comments, send me a message, send me a snotty email. Please do tell me if you think I'm being a knoblet, because at the end of the day, I'm only human, and I might say things that don't resonate with people, and I might say things that people don't agree with and they don't like. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to ever spend your pennies on me. You don't have to be in this group. You can go and tell the world I'm a knob. That's fine. Like, that's your opinion, the same as this is my opinion. This is my personal opinion as somebody who has been doing this for a fairly long time and has been working with dogs for a fairly long time. Not as long as some people. There's some people that have been working with dogs before I fucking even started dog training, before I was born. So Laura's put dopamine whores for life. Absolutely. Dopamine whores. We are all dopamine whores, I'm afraid. So yeah, you don't have to do what I say. Please don't take my word as gospel, but please listen. And just take your opinions from it, even if they're not things you want. Everybody's entitled to opinion, doesn't make it right. Especially when it is an opinion as opposed to anything with fact behind it. I know it's a fact that arousal causes issues, but it's not a fact that your mantrailing dog is in a high arousal state. It's just, we're reading behaviour. Foggy's put, our flyball dog's tried with such high arousal at the start especially. We've made some progress, but intrigued, never met anyone else and wonder if it's part of the problem. It is part of the problem, you know that. But the thing is, she enjoys flyball, so why would you stop it? Stop it, so I've just read Alex's comment. And it's difficult with her because she finds beginning really high arousal and we need her to bark it out, but we can't do that in public spaces because she'd bark for 20 minutes. Alex is at this point, I expect you to say if you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself. One person said to me, it's always stuck with me, Kathryn, you're a fucking delight. And I'm like, yeah, not for everybody. If you don't like me, you don't like me. I haven't got time for people anymore. Don't like me, that's fine. Don't ever spend your pennies on me and call me a dick if I haven't back. That's fine. I'm not going to take it to heart. I'll tell you, Alex, personally, if you don't like me, go fuck yourself. Do you want another Malinois? A Malinois across Labrador. Be a good deer tracking dog, that. Free to bad home. Or 50p. I'll pay you 50p. Take her, Alex. So yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm quite honest when I speak to people. So I don't want people to take my word as gospel. I don't want people to think I'm some sort of fucking mantrailing queen. I'm not. People have said it to me. Oh my god. No. I'm just a tit with a screen that's talking at you guys. You guys are here listening, so you're the tits. No. But yeah, just take something from it and hopefully kind of go from there. Made jump stage to AJ, and it's been great because Bernie, so AJ is a really high drive springer, and we finally met in person. Bernie's been stalking around my stuff for about a year, Patreon, and we talked a few times, and it's so nice that AJ is making progress now, and different. Like, he has always made progress, but maybe make life easier for AJ and Bernie as they work together. So it's really nice. Yeah, Laura, I'm still trying to flog the Mally Lab off. One day she'll go. No, I love it a bit. But yeah, any questions, guys? We're on an hour now, so I think you're all going to be fed of me. So anybody got any questions, anything they want to add to this, anything like that, I just really appreciate most of you guys. There's like 20 of you at one point, so that's really cool for me. So I really appreciate you sticking around for an hour. We're now to 16, so some people have left. But I really appreciate you spending time listening to me, because it makes me feel empowered that some people are listening, and that I'm not a complete knob just talking to a screen by myself, which I have done before. So yeah. But if anybody wants to have a conversation with me, private chat, talk to me about maybe mentoring, I'm happy to do a free call and see if I can help you get your dog focused, talk through some videos, bits and bobs. Like, I'm here to help online and in person. So yeah, if you need anything, just drop me a message. My email, you've got my socials. Try not to get me on private, please, because I have enough shit in my private stuff. But yeah, just come and find me. I'm here, and I'm happy to have a free phone call with anybody that fancies joining the membership and having some coaching anytime. Oh, there's some cool people on. Thank you guys for commenting. It's really good. And some people I don't know as well, which is nice. I haven't seen some of you guys for ages, and the people I've seen so recently. It's been lovely. So thanks, guys. I'm going to go and leave you to evening. I'm going to eat my dinner. And go from there. Have a lovely evening, and if you do jump on this as a recording, then please do add your comments to this. I will come find them and add my reply if I need to, or whatever. But say, come and find me on social media, on email, and I'll have a discussion if you want it. If you don't like what I'm saying and you want to have a fight with me, that's fine. Come, no. See you guys soon. Bye.